Hello, Big Show nerds. Things are looking a little weird behind me. I know I'm getting new siding on my house. It's a thing. And I'm also moving into a new studio, so that's a thing. Things are happening on the Black Lion Endeavor's website, so that's a thing. We've got a small-ish episode that we're going to be covering today. So without any further ado, intro. So let's jump into TV streaming, and this might be our largest section for the episode. We have a couple of things from Comic-Con at Home that finished up over the weekend. Really kind of a lackluster showing this year, but that was to be expected considering it's Comic-Con at Home and not just regular old Comic-Con. So not a whole... I was expecting some big announcements over the weekend, and we didn't really get any of that. We got some Walking Dead stuff. We actually have 3 different Walking Dead things we're talking about from Comic-Con at Home, and that is the Walking Dead season finale has been set for October 4th. I believe that one airs at 9 p.m. Pacific time, and then Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 premieres on October 11th, again, around about 9 p.m. Pacific time, and then Walking Dead World Beyond also premieres October 4th, so the final episode of Season 11, or 10 rather, from the regular show, the show that started it all, and then the first episode of the new show that is the newest spin-off of The Walking Dead, being World Beyond, is all the same night, actually back to back, because it will be back to, so Walking Dead is 9 o'clock, Fear the Walking Dead World Beyond, God, so many Walking Dead, first day with the new lips, that will be immediately following at 10 o'clock. So that is what we have for Comic-Con at Home. Now let's get into the other news. Technically, these could be considered mostly follow-ups, so take with it what you will. I think the only thing, we'll get to it. So first up is Star Trek Discovery. We have the official premiere date announced as October 15th, which is a Thursday. Again, CBS All Access will be releasing these one episode at a time, so we have to wait a week in between. I kind of like that. That's all we've got for news on that part. We're moving on. Next is the only actual piece of real news, I think, and that's the announcement from Netflix that The Witcher is getting a spin-off series. This is going to be a limited series, so it's going to just be the one season, probably only 6 episodes. I don't believe the episode count was released, but I feel like that's an expectation for a limited series, 6 to 8 episodes. And it's going to be called Blood Orange. It's supposed to be focusing on everything that happens for the first Witcher as well as before humans entered the world of the Witcher mythology. So very interesting. Again, limited series. It'll only be the one season. And we're moving on. Next is Helstrom. Helstrom got a new trailer over the weekend. I'm actually certain this was not a Comic-Con at Home thing because Marvel was not at Comic-Con at Home except for New Mutants. We already talked about that. So new trailer for Helstrom. Link in the description. And then Umbrella Academy officially got its announced 3rd season. So Netflix is really going hard again, throwing money at a lot of comic book related stuff, which is awesome. I can totally get behind that. That is all we have for TV streaming. Now we're getting into movies, and movies is really light. So we have follow-ups to talk about. First up, we have Batman. This is the Schumacher cut is really starting to catch some steam. The hashtag on Twitter and Instagram is really blowing up. So it looks like we might be getting that much closer to the release of it. If the fans make a big enough stink, use that hashtag release the Schumacher cut. If fans make a big enough stink, then we'll get another payoff like the Snyder Cut. So, only time will tell with that. Next update is for G.I. Joe and Snake Eyes, and that is just that it's been pushed back to 2021. It was supposed to be released by the end of this year. Now it's going to be released by the end of next year, but that was to be expected. And then speaking of the Snyder Cut, just a really interesting side note for this follow-up is that Zack Snyder is finishing the Snyder Cut for no money. And now that's a little bit of a misnomer. That's the reason I put this in here, because otherwise I wouldn't just put that in there. That's really silly. But he's saying he's not doing it for any money. but he's a producer on it. So if it makes any money, he's also the director. He's also getting writing credits. So if that release makes any money, which it will because HBO Max, but if that release makes any money, he's making a boatload of cash in post. They're just not paying him up front. So whenever somebody says that kind of stuff, take it with a grain of salt, because that's kind of a big fat lie. So that's what we've got for follow-ups. Now we got a couple of things from Comic-Con at home. Again, finished over the weekend. Kind of a lackluster showing. First up is Snyder Cut. We got to see the first screens of Black Suit Superman, and this was a little underwhelming for me because it was totally CG. It was shot originally with blue and red suits, and then they changed it to black, or Snyder rather changed it to black because reasons. It's awesome to finally see that interaction between Superman and Alfred, but still a little underwhelming because of that reason. And then just a really funny piece that happened also. The Kevin Smith panel was I don't know if it was honestly funny or more sad, because they just bleeped the crap out of Kevin Smith. Like every other year they've put his panel up on their YouTube page, it's been completely uncensored, and Kevin Smith is a guy who likes to speak very colloquially, and so he uses a lot of colorful language, which they knew going into this. So either they should have warned him, or they just shouldn't have bleeped him to begin with. It's really funny. You can go see it on the Comic-Con International page on YouTube. That is all the catching up we have to do. Now, this is technically a follow-up too, but it's a big follow-up, so we got to talk a little bit about it, and that is Tenet. So Tenet officially got a couple of release dates, actually. So first up is August 26th is the foreign markets release date. So it's 60-something, or it might have been 40-something. I don't know. It wasn't super important except for these countries. It is being released on August 26th in these countries, amongst a slew of others. Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Korea, presumably just South Korea, Russia, Spain, and the UK. All of those will be August 26th. And then a little over a week later, about 2 weeks later actually, September 7th is when it's supposed to hit US theaters. So that should be the day that it goes into most US theaters, and also very likely the day that most US theaters open up. Except for Regal Cinemas, which is blowing my mind right now, because if you don't know, September 7th is Labor Day, and Regal Cinemas says we're not going to have a movie in our theater on Labor Day because we don't want to make money. No, that's not what they said, but that's kind of what they're doing, isn't it? Like, that just, I don't understand why you wouldn't. Labor Day is a big money-making weekend for theaters anyway, and this is going to be the biggest movie of the easily of the year, and probably of the last 5 to 6 years. Well, one of them, because Avengers is a thing. But still, like, I just don't understand the thought process that Regal's going through. We're not going to make that much money or we're not going to miss out on that much money if we don't show it on Labor Day. Okay. All right. But that's what we have for movies, guys. Rumor time, baby. All right. Rumors. First up, we have Cassian Andor. We know this series is happening. This is one of the few actual announced series. So the rumor is this time around that we will be seeing a return again for Grand Moff Tarkin. Guy Henry will reportedly return to reprise his role as Peter Cushing's Grand Moff Tarkin. So the guy that was the physicality in Rogue One, and then they digitally replaced his face with Peter Cushing, that is reportedly going to be happening again for the series on Disney+. Likelihood of this, I feel like that's a lot of money to throw at a what is effectively a TV series, but Disney is treating a lot of the Disney Plus stuff as just a long form movie, so we're sitting at about a 30% likelihood that this is going to happen. I don't know what kind of role Grand Moff Tarkin is going to play in a Cassian Andor specific movie or series rather, but if he does come back, then yeah, I believe that they would throw enough money to bring Peter Cushing back from the dead one more time. I don't know if he's going to play a major role. So again, we're looking at about a 30% likelihood on this one. Next is just a general Lucasfilm rumor, and that is to say that they reportedly have 9 projects in the works for Disney Plus. We know of a few of them, and I wrote down all the ones I could think of, and there's probably a few that I missed, so remind me. But we have Cassian Andor, we have Bad Batch, we have Obi-Wan, we have Mando, we have the Rebels spinoff that is still rumored to be happening, the continuation series, not the Bad Batch series, because we already covered that. And then that's 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 4 more that we don't know about that are reportedly happening. This, I think, is a good 50-50 chance that this is legit, because streaming is where it's at. This is the wave of the future. This is what's going to be happening from now on. So why not? And then we're moving to our next rumor, which is Batman Beyond. New rumor about the rumored movie. So that already drops its likelihood down a significant amount. But new rumor about the rumored movie is that we're going to be seeing 2 different Jokers in the Batman Beyond movie, should it actually happen. Now, this should be no real surprise to anybody who's been familiar with the animated series or the animated movie that deals with the same subject, or even the comic books, because there's technically 2 Jokers there too. There's the original Joker, quote unquote, and then there's the new Joker, the younger Joker that we see in the, I believe he made his debut in the animated movie and then was in the comic books. I don't think he made it into any of the actual animated episodes. Either way, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Batman Beyond, you're a couple years late. But spoiler alert, it's Tim Drake as the secondary Joker, which, according to this rumor, is going to remain the same for the movie. Again, should it happen. Likelihood for this one to happen is very, very slim. 15 to 20%, man. I don't think we're going to be seeing anytime soon, at the very least. I don't think it's anywhere in production right now, the Batman Beyond movie. I think they're really focusing on all of their work that has been announced. I don't think they have a whole lot that they're playing so close to the chest that we don't know about it. So that being said, any rumors that build off of a rumor, very unlikely to be true. And then our next piece is not gaming, even though it does have to do with Halo. Halo rumored for the Showtime series. This one's going to have a lot of nerds up in arms. Reportedly, Master Chief, we will be seeing his face not at the end of the first season, like we did for The Mandalorian, but somewhere in the middle of the first episode, which is kind of setting a pretty not so great precedent, because that's another character where you're not supposed to ever see his face because mythology and so on and so forth. So if we see his face in the first episode, then then people are going to expect to see it more often. If they just show it to us in the first episode, then that is what it is. Likelihood for this one, I feel like this is highly likely, again, considering Hollywood as a machine and so on and so forth. So I'm really saying 40% or so legitimacy to this one. And then our final rumor is actually still a rumor, in spite of what a lot of my sources are reporting. Haley Steinfeld in Hawkeye is not official yet. That's right, not yet official 100%. Reportedly, she is going to sign the contract. It is going to be a real thing, but it has yet to happen. An official announcement has not been made, so we're just setting the record straight. Haley Steinfeld has not officially signed on to be in the Hawkeye series. And that's what we got for rumors. And that does it for this episode of Headlines Nerds. For a more in-depth conversation on these nerdy bits, plus the full news show, you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. While you're here, though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms. Especially, don't forget the YouTube channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away a PlayStation gaming console. That is a thing that is happening. Be sure to subscribe. Maybe leave a comment so we know that you're subscribed. Maybe not. It's just the subscription thing is a little weird, so it's best if you try and comment so that we know you're there, we know you're subscribed, so on and so forth. So all that being said, thank you once again, nerds, for joining me, and tune in next time for all that's happening across the nerd world.